Hi, this is Chris. Today I'm going to tell you how to find the best Linux version for you. Any version of Linux you download, you want to make sure it has live. Okay? Right now this is Q4 OS. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this on live. My hard drive is pulled out of my laptop and I have this external drive hooked up through a USB plug. Now, before you go installing Linux on any computer, you want to make sure everything's going to work. Unfortunately, Linux does have some problems with certain graphics cards, such as some NVIDIA cards, AMD cards, some Wi-Fi cards. Now, see here, Q4 OS picked up my wireless network card. Alright, so I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to hit OK. Moving file system to RAM because I'm running this off of live. I don't want to install this. I'm just going to show you different versions of Linux, what to expect from each version. Some versions are based on Ubuntu. I really don't much care for Ubuntu myself, but Linux Mint is based on Ubuntu, so Zorin OS. Now here you have all this stuff. Now there's a reason that, see, auto detect NVIDIA drivers you can install. This will download and install. First thing you have to do is make sure that you're connected, okay? And the only problem with this setup is getting your wireless to set up is a royal pain in the rear. Okay, right here. Let's see. We're going to save this. Now I need to try to connect this. Let's cancel that. Alright. Edit connections. Right there. Some of these versions of Linux are really hard to set up, such as your wireless. Alright, let's exit that screen. And sometimes your wireless just can't pick up because of such as like passwords. Okay, see, it failed. This you actually have to set up by hand on this version of Linux. This is a real hassle unless you actually like going through like command prompt and things like that. I suggest you don't use Q4. Alright, I'm gonna hit no. Hit no. Alright, I'm gonna turn my Wi-Fi card off and I'm gonna shut this down. Now if you set it up, want to install this, as you can see, this does not come with hardly anything. Your programs, the documents, settings, web browser, documents, settings, find and help. I mean, this doesn't have anything. You can't really install games on this or anything else. Okay, in current sessions, let's turn off the computer. That's a Trinity desktop environment. Alright, let me pull that out and I'll hook up another one and I'll show you what the other one does. Okay, and what I did was I replaced it with a different flash drive. As you can tell, I have a few of those. I don't know if you can see them. I apologize for the quality of this video, but I have a few of these flash drives like this. This one has Linux Mint 19. Personally, I prefer the Cinnamon desktop over Mate or any other. This will automatically also pick up my Wi-Fi card, but this is so much easier to set up. Give it a few minutes here to load, and I'll start recording again as soon as it's loaded. Okay, that didn't take long to load at all. This also picks up this 40 gig external drive that I have hooked up right here. Alright, which means I can actually install it to this external drive. I do have a video showing how to do all that. Now this, of course, I just turned my Wi-Fi on. Now this is so much easier. See, Wi-Fi available. Alright, click here, pick your Wi-Fi, put your password in, connect. This is one of the easier ones to set up. See, Wi-Fi connected. Alright. This comes with a Firefox web browser. Now remember, this is on the live version. This is not installed. This is running straight from USB. And there it goes. It starts right up. The web browser works. Of course, you'll install your own web browser. I prefer SeaMonkey, Komodo Dragon, Komodo Ice Dragon over Firefox or Chrome. And of course, we all know Internet Explorer is absolutely no more. So there are alternatives that you can put on Linux. Alright. Now this version, you go down here to menu. This has all kinds of stuff already pre-installed. Sound and video. You can install multimedia player codecs, media player, rhythm box, administration, Gparted is installed on this, which is a partition manager. The software manager is right over here. See, here's Firefox. There's the software manager right under it. You can get to it through administration, I believe, too. Yep, right there. But it's so much easier to install stuff on here. You click that, you're already online. Now, what I'm saying is, if your version of Linux does not pick up your wireless card or pick up your network, do not install it. There are ways around that. But trying to install some drivers on Linux, especially if they're on only specific Windows drivers, can be a royal pain in the rear end. I suggest you don't do it. Now, Mint, along with some others like Zorin, go through the repositories for Ubuntu. So, you know, there's a whole bunch of games you can install on here. Same as Ubuntu, same as Zorin. There are different versions of Linux, Arch Linux, you know, like I say, just different versions. I'm going to shut this down. And like I say, any version of Linux, you want to make sure your Wi-Fi card, if you have a Wi-Fi card or your network, is picked up immediately. You know, down here, turn on your Wi-Fi if you have Wi-Fi. And if it cannot find a network, it can't find your Wi-Fi, you do not want that on your hard drive. It will be more hassle than it's worth. And it's easier just to find a different version of Linux that may pick it up. Alright, I'm going to go here, I'm going to shut this down and shut down, and I'll be back once I install another version over here and show you what that does. Okay, this is Ubuntu Game Pack, I believe. Like I said, I really don't like Ubuntu a lot. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way they set it up. Sometimes it's extremely confusing to use. And this does take a little while to load. It is Ubuntu. A lot of people, the three top Linux versions out there are Ubuntu, Mint, and I believe Arch. I could be wrong. You know, don't jump down my throat if I am, but there are so many different versions of Linux out there. They call them distros. You can download numerous versions. Now, the way I created all my USBs, I did use one program called Etcher, Etcher. And the reason being is I've tried different programs such as Yummy. Yummy makes different versions of Linux on one USB, but if it screws up, and it does quite often, I found, it will completely run your USB drive. It will make it read only, and once you we're gonna go ahead and go to try. We don't want to install, but once your drive is read only, it's a pain to get it off. I have thrown away numerous drives trying to just get Linux to install on a USB drive. Like I said, Etcher is the one program I use. So far, I haven't had any problems with it. You know, all of these that I'm showing you, I did with Etcher. Now here's Ubuntu. Yes, this is Ubuntu Game Pack. Of course, server's not found. I don't know why that automatically starts, because like I said, I don't use Ubuntu. Now let's see if this picks up my Wi-Fi card. Alright, my Wi-Fi is on. Network's available. Alright. I believe that's there. Right, this is an easy setup. Connect. This is how you want Linux to set up. You want it to pick up your Wi-Fi card. All you want to be able to do is just, yeah, it can't download because I don't have it installed, so I'm just going to close that. Start Steam to complete installation for Steam users. I'm just going to close that. Okay. Next. If it wants to close. It's trying to download files. That's what I absolutely hate about Ubuntu. It just tries to put stuff on your computer. And like I say, I don't want to install this. We just want to browse and make sure Firefox is closed. I'm going to go down here in the corner. Click here to hide all windows and show the desktop. Here's applications. I'm going to go up there at the top corner and see. There we go. Now this has Crossover installed. I believe this is a trial version. Crossover lets you more or less, it's kind of like playing on Linux with Wine. It helps you play certain Windows games on Linux. Now since this is the game pack, I want to see what it has, and to be honestly, this does not have hardly anything more than Linux Mint comes with, or different versions of Linux. And all of this stuff here that is installed, even if your Linux version like Mint doesn't come with it, guess what? You can download it. So to me, this is a complete waste. I mean, a game pack should have games, a lot of them. This really doesn't. Alright, I'm going to shut this down, which is up here at the top, and I'm going to possibly throw in another one. I'll be right back. Okay, now this is Peppermint. This does have a live OS install, or full installer. We're going to try the live. Let's see. I believe you have to hit T on that. I did try enter. It didn't want to load, so I hit T, and well, this is what happens. It's starting up. Like I said, any version of Linux you need to make sure that it has support for your drivers. If you don't have the right drivers to run your computer or your laptop, most versions of Linux that I've found will actually run on my old Dell Latitude E6500 laptop here. Now there are some that are extremely heavy. Farron OS, it is heavy. Alright, it picks up Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, I left my Wi-Fi card on. Now let's click on here to see what it does. I want to see if the Wi-Fi is going to pick up on here. Since I'm really not familiar a lot with this operating system, right here, down at the bottom, right there. Now let's see if it shows up for a password. It does. Let's connect that. Now this looks decent. I mean, it has the bar at the bottom. Alright, I'm connected 100%. Now the menu down here is kind of like the start menu of Mint or I believe Zorin. Now here's your control panel settings. Now this has some games, not a whole lot. I believe this is not a Ubuntu based Linux. Since it's not, it doesn't access Ubuntu stuff. Let's see, we'll find out real quick. Let's go to Software Manager and see if it loads anything Ubuntu. Since I'm online, this should actually load. I mean, it looks like a sleek little yes, looks like a Ubuntu package. Let's check games. Alright, Wine, Super Tux, play on Linux. So yes, Peppermint, you can install different games. Okay, and that means this should use anything basically Ubuntu programs too. This comes with different things. Actually, not a lot. It comes with document viewer, things like that. Internet. This actually does come with Chromium installed, and not Firefox. Sound and video. VLC media players installed. Excuse me. Gparted is installed. This is Peppermint 8 that I'm showing you right now. Alright, so we know that works. Let's shut off my Wi-Fi. Click down here. Alright, you go up here, and I believe this is log out, lock screen, switch users, all settings, log out, and then shut down. Okay, let's shut this down, and I'll throw in another one. Okay, now this one is Blue Star Linux. Now, I do not believe, yes, this says live medium down here, but I'm not exactly sure. So I took out my hard drive out of my laptop, and like I say, I have this little external thing, IDE hard drive hooked up through a USB. So we're going to see what this one does, if it loads at all. Some versions of Linux do not like loading on certain hardware. So let's see what this does. So far, a lot of the Linux versions I've shown you, basically anyone can use them. They're not really hard to install software, games, you know, certain things that you like to use. Now, Linux is not for everyone. You cannot, in most cases, just throw in a Windows game and play it on Linux or a Windows program. There are some Linux versions that let you have a workaround that you can do certain games and play certain games and run certain programs, but it's not easy in most cases. Linux is a completely different operating system. Mint is one of the easiest ones to use for beginners. Zorin is another one for beginners. Like I say, it just takes a little while to get used to it. See, this already comes with desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, and videos all on the desktop. This has hard drive disk space usage. Now, what I'm interested in is to see if this will pick up my Wi-Fi card. My Wi-Fi is turned on. So far, there's no pop-up saying that it's found something. Let's see. This is going to be one of those that is a real pain. see, what's this? Alright, system settings. Connections. See, this only shows wired connections. Okay, that is not something you want to see if you have a Wi-Fi card and not an Ethernet port. I understand most things have an Ethernet port, but you want to see wireless. Let's see if I can reset this. And all it's going to do is go to Ethernet. So we go to settings, no proxy, connection preference. And like I say, this really does not want to go to Wi-Fi. So this is an operating system you really don't want to use. And like I say, the way it's set up is okay. But if your wireless isn't going to work with this, you don't want this. Alright, let me shut this down. Log out. Alright, I'll be back when I have some more. Of course, this pops up. Shut down. I'll be back when I have some more on some flash drives, so I can show you those. Alright. Now here we have Zorin OS. This is Zorin OS 12. This does have Wi-Fi, but you actually have to go more or less set this up. Go to settings. Now remember, this is running off the flash drive. This basically shows up kind of like Windows, with when you go into Windows, you're like my computer control panel basically. Okay. Here on network, see Wi-Fi unavailable. Alright, what you need to do is turn Wi-Fi on. Airplane mode is on, okay. And then, of course, I don't have my Wi-Fi card on. There we go. And now it's on. If your Wi-Fi doesn't work with Zorin, go here to your network. Airplane mode off, Wi-Fi on. That should actually hit your Wi-Fi. If that doesn't, go ahead and just click airplane mode on. Certain cards, airplane mode has to be on, and certain cards it has to be off. And right there, click, Wi-Fi is off, click, select network. Alright, if it says turn off airplane mode, Wi-Fi is disabled, turn it off. And here it shows up all your networks. Okay. Click your network, hit connect, and then put in your Wi-Fi. Your Wi-Fi password, connect. And you can see it's starting to connect, and it's connected. And just close that. A lot of people like Zorin because it has more or less a Windows 7 feel. And it does come with Chromium. Some actually come with Firefox. Now if you go to games here, you can see there's not a lot of games here installed, but you can install other games. In here it's like home folder, documents, downloads, music, pictures, videos. So everything's right here, software. To update Zorin, it's really not that hard to do. Go to your software. And here's the software. And let's go shopping. Now this will load, and it will load from like Ubuntu and stuff like that. And this has editor picks and stuff like that. But anyway, Zorin 12, which is the latest version of Zorin, I found still has a few tweaks that need to be tweaked on it. So if you want to use Zorin, I'd wait, if possible, until they get everything fixed like they're supposed to. Alright, I'm going to turn my Wi-Fi card off. I'm going to shut this down. And I'm going to show you another version of Linux. I shall be right back. Okay, now this is Sparky Linux. This is 5.3 LXQT 64-bit. Now, if you can see, Sparky Linux doesn't say that it has a live CD installed, but actually it does. So you just let it load, and it will load Sparky Linux. Another thing you have to worry about when loading Linux is your hardware compatibility. Most of these versions of Linux picked up my Wi-Fi card. Most of them picked up actually my graphics. I have NVIDIA graphics in this little Dell laptop. And some versions of Linux, it'll start to load and then they'll restart. Don't worry about that. Like I said, to make all of my USB flash drives, I do use Etcher. That's ETCHER. It is one of the best programs I found. People swear by certain versions of programs to make your flash drives. Unfortunately, most of the time you put Linux on a flash drive, it's very hard to actually get Linux off that flash drive. Windows will not do it. You have to have specific programs, partition editors, where you can delete the partition and rebuild it or format it. Windows does not do that. Okay, here's Sparky Linux. Now, Sparky Linux does have Wi-Fi. Alright, I turn my Wi-Fi card on. Up here at the top, see Network Managers. This pops up. And then use Network menu to connect to Wi-Fi. And right here, you click up at the top. And here is the Wi-Fi is available. Alright, once again, you put in your Wi-Fi password, and when you install Linux, you only have to do this, I believe, one time to connect, because it does save it. Now it's connected. Alright, the menu on this is at the top. I do prefer it on the bottom myself. Now this doesn't come with a lot of stuff. It does come with things like gparted, which is our partition editor, BleachBit, root, terminal, task manager, USB disk formatter. Sound and video has different programs installed. This really doesn't install a bunch of stuff on this version of Linux, such as games and things like that. I'm sure there's a way to install certain things, but you know, I really haven't checked this version a whole lot. Me personally, I do prefer Linux Mint over this. I do not like the menu bar at the top. And this is the last version of Linux I'm going to show you. And you can upgrade your system. Has two different desktops on here. Removable media. There's your battery. And show desktop. So I do not really care much for this version. It's confusing. It's hard to use. And I'm going to go ahead and leave and shut down. Just remember, try your Linux version before you install it. Make sure it picks up your Wi-Fi, your network, and your graphics, and your sound. Alright, that's it for this. Everybody have a good day.